Hey everyone, Lisa here. This tutorial is going to show you how I've been doing line art for the past week or so. Before we get started, a couple of quick notes. First off, you may or may not see it, but the brush shape I am using for the main line art says Lisa's Cali. I didn't actually create it. It came from Lineart member Aquajet. For some reason though, PaintTool Sai wouldn't show the shape or let me use it, so I had to play around with it. I named my versions Lisa's Cali and uploaded it, and sure enough, it worked. It's a cool brush shape, but I didn't want to take credit for something I didn't make. I'll post the link in the video description if you want to check it out. Also, if I sound a little different than I usually do, I've been sick lately. Actually, I had to go to the hospital recently because of it. I'm fine now, but still dealing with some of the after effects. One last thing. A few times I'm going to skip the video ahead a bit. When I do play it through, I'll be playing a song by YouTube member Dinosaur Dubstep. I'll post a link to the song video while the song is playing. This kid has some serious talent, and he wants to be a famous DJ like Skrillex, so please, please, please go check out his page and take a listen to some of his stuff. It's definitely worth the time. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you need is, obviously, a sketch. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a huge gamer. One of my favorite games is Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is the team I normally go with: Morgan, Felicia, and X-23. Speaking of Laura, starting with her. I'm going to start with her facial features, mainly because that's what I usually draw first after the base wireframe. I know a lot of people draw small, quick strokes when drawing line art. I do it too on occasion. But I recommend trying to draw one long stroke at a time. If it comes out a little squiggly, it just means you need to practice more. My lines used to be squiggly as hell before I really started practicing. In the meantime, Sai has this great option called Stabilizer. Play around with the settings until you're comfortable with how the lines turn out. They may show up a little slowly, but it's well worth it. Now, as you can see here, I'm erasing a small portion of the ends of the lines. The reason I do that is purely for aesthetic reasons. A sharpened line ending looks better and neater than a more rounded off or fading line. To do this, I took the main eraser, changed its size to about 1 pixel, and just tapered off the ends a little. Now, another great feature on Sai is the ability to rotate the canvas in any way that you need to. This is extremely helpful when it comes to drawing things like eyes, necks, hair, well, anything really. So, as you saw with the lips, I made the middle of the curve thick, and I had the line size shrink as it went outward. As you'll see later on, I did the same thing with the eyes and jawline. This gives line art a little bit more depth. Not to mention, many people, myself included, think it just looks nicer. You may have noticed that I tend to erase some of the sketch after finishing a certain part of the line art. It's not necessary, but I do it to see any bits of line art that may need fixing. Now, you could fix it while you're right there, or you can wait until all the line art is drawn out and fix it then. If you don't want to erase your sketch as you go along, you can simply lower the sketch layer's opacity to 0% and look at the lines that way. Now, here I'm using black for my line art. Many people do. But others choose to draw the line art with a darker shade of their choice color. I've seen line art drawn in dark brown, dark red, dark blue. Some people choose to draw the line art in darker shades of the base color for a certain area. Say, you decide to give a character sky blue hair and lightly tan skin. Using this method, you'd line the hair in a much darker shade of the sky blue. Then you would line the skin in a darker tan color. It's all really preference though. In my opinion, no one color choice is better than any other. Every now and then, especially if you're drawing a person that is facing toward the viewer, you'll find that you need a mirror image of something, like an eye. To make this mirror image, use the lasso tool to select the part of the line art that you need to mirror. Copy and paste. This will put the duplicate in a new layer, but you can merge it down when you're finished. Now, click on the square marquee that's right next to the lasso tool. In the little option selection that has appeared below the brushes, click on the flip horizontally, then click transform. Now, simply move the eye where it's needed. Click OK when finished, then go up to the top toolbar, select selection, then clear. Now, simply merge it down so that both eyes are on the same layer. You can do this with hair, jawline, anything that you think needs a mirror copy. So, another cool feature on Sai is the line art layer. Now, it has all of your basic line art tools like the pen and the eraser. but it also has the tools needed to make vector lines. These are great when you don't have a tablet. Now, I'm not entirely sure how to draw line art with a mouse or the vector tools, but here's a link to a video that will show you how by YouTube member Yumi the Panda. Now, I don't usually use a line art layer. It's not necessary, but it's there if you want to use it. I usually have the stabilizer somewhere between S4 and S6. Feel free to play around with the settings until it feels right to you. Okay, so now I've given you most of the basics. Now, I'm going to fast forward through the rest of the inking of X23. The song you're hearing is from the kid that I mentioned earlier, Dinosaur Dubstep. The name of this track is Synth Dubstep. Here's the link for the video to the song. His name is Alex and he's 14. He's put a lot of time and energy into these songs and I'd like to help him get a lot of viewers, so please take the time to check out his channel. So, as you can see, I went ahead and inked Felicia Morgan off camera, and here's the finished version. There's one last little thing you should know before you start your line art. Don't be afraid to spend a lot of time on it. This line art took almost an entire day to finish. Your line art is the base of your entire piece, and crappy line art can ruin an otherwise amazing picture. Well, that's all for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. Thanks to Dinosaur Dubstep for letting me use his music, and thank you for watching. I'll be making a speed paint out of this, but it may take a few days to finish. Anyway, here's my Twitter URL. Follow me for sketches and updates concerning my art, as well as pics of my adorable little buddy Hachi. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Later.